Hey, this is Grant of Grant's Media Menagerie coming back to you today to talk to you about one of my favorite anime, Full Metal Alchemist from 2003. Okay, so we're now on episode 16. And this is a rather interesting one cuz like the ones before it, we've really really gotten a good string of episodes here, but this brings up something that you don't often see in either shows like this or just in shows in general. You see, this is one of those shows that it starts off with a goal in mind. The hero is trying to gain something, whether that be honor or power. Just these types of stories involve a goal, but this is a kids show, or kids to young adult show that asks, yes, try to get what you want, but have a plan afterwards. Because this whole time they're just trying to get their bodies back, and a person poses a question to them, what's waiting at the other end of that? That's a really, really good question. I don't think a lot of people ask, and they should be asking. It's like the person who wants to get more power. They get it, and then they have no idea what to do with it, and they're depressed. And that is a really good point, and one that I wish was in a lot more TV shows. On top of that, the writing is really good in this episode. It's so good, I actually have to say it word for word because it's that awesome. It's this line that Ed says, and he's talking about his superior. So keep in mind, he's a 14-year-old kid. His immediate superior is a colonel, and this is what he says about him. Fine, there's no way I'm dying before you do, you morally bankrupt colonel with a god complex. Okay, 14-year-old child saying that. That is freaking awesome. So yeah, this was a good episode. I think it's mostly it's one of those episodes that it has an A and a B plot. And I think the A plot is honestly very, very good. If it had just stuck to the A plot, this may have been one of my favorite episodes, but it's a little dragged down by the B plot. Not that it's bad, but it's one of those where one part of it's one of those where they get split up, where Ed and Al, they get split up, and they both have their own journeys, which lead them to learn a little bit more about themselves. And the story of Al is just kind of generic. I mean, he gets lost. He gets picked up by this little boy who assumes he's just a suit of armor of some sort. And Al plays along, pretends that like he's this new upgraded armor that's fully automated. He basically pretends to be a robot. Which is kind of odd, really, considering this is something that's supposed to be taking place between 1910 and 1920. I think the actual date is like 1914 or 15. But whatever that period of times is, if it... unsure. Teens, maybe? It's kind of generic. He pretends for a while. Eventually leaves, and yeah, this kind of generic. There's not much to say about that side of the plot. A lot more of the interesting stuff happens to Ed. When he's searching for Al, he comes across this little girl who hits him over the head and takes one of his legs because the person that I mentioned earlier that would tell him that asked the question, what's at the rainbow's end? what do you do after you've achieved what you want? This little girl, that's his granddaughter, and he had lost a leg, and she's got to be like maybe 4, 5, so she's about maybe this tall, cute little thing, and she just wants him to be happy. It's adorable, and it's sad, and it's funny because it's happening to Ed, which, well, yeah, he is very, very compassionate, but also can kind of laugh at him specifically because he is really, really insecure about his height. And yeah, it's just a beautiful episode that deals with themes that I want to see in more shows. That's honestly about it. I mean, they bring back again Alex Louise Armstrong, but even then, he's not as much of a part of this episode until like only at the very beginning and at the very end does he really make an appearance. It's always just alluded to that he's there with them, but he's never actually seen all that much, so not much of an impact there. But very, very good episode. And that is it for Grant. For me. I don't know why I just spoke in the third person there. Until next time, don't be afraid to join the herd. Yeah, herd.